Good morning, children. I hope all of you have understood the previous lesson on the earth structure. So we studied in the previous class that there are three different layers of the earth, that is the crust, mantle and the core. The interior of the earth has a very high temperature. So what happens is the intense heat in the earth's interior does not travel to the surface because the rocks are bad conductors of heat. The internal heat of the earth therefore melts the rocks and keeps the asthenosphere, that is the upper mantle, under the crust in a semi-molten state. So this results in the landform development. So first of all, what actually is a landform? A landform is actually a natural feature on the surface of the earth. So there are three main types of landforms: the mountains, plateaus and the plains. So we see that the earth's surface is not a flat featureless area, but it has a number of landforms. The surface of the earth is constantly undergoing changes because of two main forces, that is the endogenetic forces and the exogenetic forces. So endogenetic forces are those forces which operate from the interior of the earth. The word endo means internal. So endogenic forces are those forces which operate from the interior of the earth, and they are further divided into two parts, that is the diastrophism and the sudden forces. Now the forces which have disturbed or deformed the earth's crust, including folding, faulting, uplift and depression, are known as diastrophic forces, and the process is referred to as diastrophism. Now these forces act very slowly, and their effect becomes visible after thousands of years. They are very slow movements. Alright, then we have the sudden forces. The sudden forces are those forces which happen suddenly and instantly. They bring about changes on the surface of the earth. They include the earthquakes and the volcanic eruptions. So we'll be studying about them later in the coming chapters later on. Now children, the diastrophic forces are divided into two parts, the epeirogenic and the orogenic. The word epeirogenic is taken from the Greek word which means epiros, which means continent. So the continents either rise or they sink under the influence of these forces. Now epeirogenic forces are of two types, the upward and the downward. So children, when a part of the earth's crust rises in relation to its surroundings under these forces, then it is known as uplift. A part of the earth's crust rises up. Downward forces is when the forces act downwards. So what happens is that in this, a part of the earth's crust sinks or subsides under the influence of downward forces. This process is known as subsidence. So when the earth's crust is subjected to downward forces, then that area subsides down. Next we have the orogenic forces. The word oros comes from the Greek word mountain, and genic means genesis or birth of. So children, the orogenic forces are also referred to as the mountain building forces, and these forces, they act in the horizontal direction. So they disturb the horizontal arrangement of the rock strata. They are of two types, the tensional forces and the compressional forces. So compression, it is a force which pushes against a body from the opposite side. The rocks change their state when compressed or squeezed. Similarly, the tensional force, it is a pulling force. So the rocks are pulled apart by tensional forces, and as a result of this, the forces are responsible for creating the fault on the earth's crust. So children, like for tensional forces, I'll give you an example. If you take a piece of paper, you pull it apart, the paper tears. So similarly, when the rocks are subjected to tensional forces, that is the pulling forces, they develop huge cracks or fractures which are referred to as the faults. Compression, children, to give you an example, if you take a bed sheet or a tablecloth and you push it from two sides, you will see that wrinkles develop in it. So this is how the compressive forces act, and they result in the creation of the fold mountains. Next we have the exogenetic forces. After the landforms have been created, then the exogenetic forces act on these landforms. So the exogenetic forces are divided into weathering and erosion. We'll be studying about weathering later on, and erosion. So children, we'll be studying about all these forces later on. So these exogenic forces, they are also referred to as destructive forces because they cause destruction of the landforms, they cause wear and tear of the landforms, erosion of the landforms, which have been created by the endogenetic forces. The endogenetic forces are referred to as constructive forces because they help in the creation of landforms.